This is the School Success Podcast, a podcast for school leaders to learn from other school leaders what's working and what's not, and to get inspiration and encouragement, as well as strategies to grow school enrollment, connect with families, retain teachers, recruit teachers, and everything in between. You guys are heroes, and I cannot thank you enough for pouring into this next generation that's coming behind us. My goal is you will take at least one thing away from every episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Please enjoy the School Success Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation.
Time for school.
Hey, school success makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater. I'm joined by a new friend out of Southern Utah, Iuri Melo, who is the founder and owner of School Pulse. And I just recently got connected with him. I've dove into what he's doing and what he's offering. It is super unique. And honestly, I think super critical and for schools all across the country to be using and knowing of. And so if you haven't heard about it, you're about to hear all about it here in just a little bit. But before we jump into all of that, I always pass it off to the guest to introduce themselves. So Iuri, welcome to the podcast today, sir.
Man, Mitchell, it is fabulous to be here. Thanks so much for letting me come. Iuri Melo, licensed clinical social worker. I've been a private practitioner for about 20 years. I've written a couple of books in about 7 years. We launched this fabulous service that I'm so excited to talk about. I love the title of your podcast, because really our service is really about student success. Like, if I were to say, what's School Pulse about? School Pulse is a positive psychology service that's meant to promote student success. And of course, we'll talk about intervention and crisis and all of those things, but I hope that we can do that today, maybe from a little bit of a different perspective, and maybe that's what School Pulse can bring to the table and can potentially bring to a school or administrators or principals who feel like this is something that they want to move forward in and they're not quite sure how to do it or what's the best thing out there. And hopefully we can make a pretty good presentation that will be worth your time.
Looking forward to diving in with you with that. But before we do that, I always got a question I ask everybody beforehand. So I say, if I was to visit you in St. George, Utah, which I have been to, I know you and I were talking about this beforehand. Yes. I have visited there and I've eaten there, and I love it. I think it's beautiful, but everybody gets the same question. So if I was to visit you in St. George, Utah, what would you say? Mitchell, you need to eat this and do this to experience St. George, Utah.
Oh my gosh, there's a ton, but I'll just right off the bat, what I would tell you is you need to eat at Benja's. There's two places. I'll give you one of them is Benja's. It's a Thai food place. They have incredible off the hook sushi, and their Thai food, like their curries, are just incredible. So go. They actually have two locations. The other one I'll also say is Pig's Ear. That's a little bit on the way to Hurricane, which is a town that's close to us. That's a great place as well. And as far as if you really wanted to get a sense of Southern Utah and just get around some of the beautiful red rock, whether it be at Zion National Park or some of these other places, the most adventurous thing that I would tell you, that it would change your life, dude. It would change your life, Mitch. I'm telling you. Like, if you could go canyoneering at Zion National Park, there's a bunch of like canyoneering is basically when you rappel down into these canyons. And then you it's a combination of hiking and rappelling and hiking and rappelling and hiking and rappelling and swimming through just pools of water and waterfalls. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. And it's just the complete adventure. So if you had the guts and you had the time and you have the means, I would say go do that, because it would totally be worth your time.
Well, that's awesome. All right. So I will know to go to those restaurants, and I'll go canyoneering, which I've never done that before. So that sounds like a good old time that I'll make sure I have to have my life insurance up to date just in case I don't leave the family stranded. So that's good.
Oh, man. It's so safe, Mitch. I'm telling you. I mean, yes. I mean, obviously accidents happen, but it is a remarkable experience. You'd love it. And bring the family. Don't do it by yourself. Bring the family.
Deal. I got a 6-year-old and a 4-month-old, so I know that they would. I don't think the 4-month-old will love to be going down a canyon side, but one day she will.
One day.
So to dive in, kind of obviously a little bit about what you guys do. Let's share real quick what what does School Pulse do? And then I have some specific questions for you about obviously
You bet.
how you're helping. But what is School Pulse?
Yeah, so School Pulse, and I think I've kind of briefly stated it right, is what we really love to do is we love to proactively engage students and families and faculty and provide them with the absolute best psychology and most dynamic in the planet, right? So we provide students and parents and schools with the best positive psychology, growth mindset, and cognitive behavioral strategies in the planet. And our goal really is to increase and enhance student success. We want students to feel like they can succeed academically. We want them to be able to be engaged and participate in the school culture and environment. And we want them to have fabulous relationships with not just their families, but obviously with the people at the school as well. These things matter because they're the best protective factors. They're the best things that we could possibly do for students to prevent suicide. And I know that sometimes whenever we're talking about suicide prevention, we honestly, most of the time, we think about suicide intervention, which is almost a little bit too late. Like we're always focused on providing crisis response. And that's very important. But what we specifically do when we come into a school, when we come into a district, when we come into a state, right, is we provide an opportunity for us to go directly and proactively to those students, engage them with incredible content, provide them with live support, and then, of course, we can also provide intervention or during times of crisis, and we can connect those wonderful students to families, to the professionals at the school. The reason why we do it this way, Mitch, by the way, is whenever we talk to schools, we always hear the same things, right? We're overwhelmed, we're overworked, we're under-resourced, like we don't have enough resources to meet the needs. And I'm not just talking about mental health needs, but even some of the student success needs, right? And that's what we try to do is we try to come into a school and provide amazing resources that don't become like one more thing that they need to do, right? Because that's what schools don't want. Like they don't want one more thing to do. And so, for example, our email campaign, they touch it once and they don't touch it again. Like we run that campaign completely by ourselves. Our live text-based support, we provide that support. Like we augment, we multiply their efforts. When students opt in, when parents opt in, we're providing all the support. We provide all the crisis intervention. We're there for those students 7 days a week, after school, during the summer break, during the Christmas break. So this is really what we talk about. Like when we come into a school and we multiply their ability to provide support, that's what we do. And it's not them, it's us doing that. In addition to that, we do have some school-based type resources. We have a peer-to-peer support, a peer-to-peer program. And then we also have some student success and restorative practice activities that I guarantee every counselor that can hear this is just going to be blown away. And every vice principal that has nightmares about disciplinary issues and how to best address those and how to provide some corrective type activities, we have the best in the country. And of course I'm biased, but we just do. And we've created the most comprehensive mental health resource for teens available in the country. And that's fact. And so anyways, that's what we bring to the table very quickly. We try to do it effortlessly so that schools don't end up hating us. And instead they just end up absolutely loving what we're offering and what we're bringing to the table.
Hey, school success makers, Mitchell here. I just want to take a really quick break from the show to give a big, huge shout out to the Herzog Foundation. I absolutely love the Herzog Foundation. I've been friends and partners with them for a couple of years now, but we're bringing it to a whole new level. And I'm excited to share that our very own School Success podcast is now featured on the Herzog Foundation Podcast Network. The Herzog Foundation is a powerhouse of resources designed to support schools like yours, from free training events through the Herzog Foundation Institute to their incredible online news publication, The Lion, and of course, our new podcast, Home. They have everything you need to stay informed and inspired. And if you're dreaming of starting your own Christian school or co-op, don't miss their online course, Schoolbox. It's a fantastic resource to help you get started on the right foot. At School Success, we're proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation to bring you these valuable tools and insights. So visit herzogfoundation.com to explore all they have to offer. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on these amazing opportunities for growth and success. And I love all the people over there, and I know you guys will too. So please, please go check them out, and you won't be disappointed. Now, back to the show. And what does that look like for a school that's interested in adopting this service? If they say, hey, yes, we want to sign up, we have 500 students, do they have to get the cell phone numbers of all students and give them to you guys? Or is there an opt-in area? Like, what does the process actually look like just to get started in it?
I love it. I'll tell you, the very first thing that we do is we begin our email campaign. Like, that's the easiest thing. So usually a school provides us with the email of the parents and the students, and we begin the campaign. And that's it. Like, it's done. It's off their hands. One email per week. We don't spam families. We don't spam students. We send our student success activity of the week. These are our awesome videos that will blow your mind. It goes out every Tuesday, and we deliver that activity to every parent and student proactively. We want to be transparent. We know how important that is for schools, and that's why we send it off to every parent. The text-based support, we're dealing with minors here, so we can't opt the student in. They have to opt themselves in. We also provide parents with the opportunity to opt their child in as well. And so what we provide for schools is these awesome posters with QR codes. And of course, a lot of times we can do like a virtual assembly, or we have other videos that we share. But students can simply scan that QR code. It's not an app. They don't have to download anything. It's not a username. It's not a password. They literally get a text on their phone that says, hey, welcome to School Pulse. And from that moment on, like, we proactively text those students every Tuesday and Friday. Every Tuesday, we send them our brand new videos. Every Friday, we send them other inspirational and positive psychology content. And anytime that those students engage, our team provides live support. And in the case of, let's say, an emergency where a student reports that they're actively suicidal, or they're reporting physical or sexual abuse, or homicidal ideation, or trauma, anything else, I mean, these are all things that we hear. We intervene directly with that student. And then, of course, we do everything in our power to connect that awesome student to their family, to the professionals at the school. But once again, that's our team doing that and connecting those professionals to that student. And so it's not something that the school has to monitor. They're hiring us to monitor that. They're hiring us to become an extension of the amazing stuff that they're already doing. So those are the first two things that we do. The other one that, once again, is very, very, very simple is we immediately give parents and students access to our mental health resource. I'll provide you with the link. You guys can look at that. But that's the very first thing. The reason why we do that, by the way, Mitch, is we've now met with thousands of schools throughout the country, and we've noticed that most schools, most districts, like, they have very few, if any, resources at all on their website. They got a couple of PDFs on, like, how to do some breathing techniques or whatever. But man, our resources, they're comprehensive, they're topical, they're easy to navigate, and easy for parents to find and for students to find. And once again, that's an easy way for us to immediately increase that school's access to vetted and awesome content that is evidence-based and research-backed. So those are three of the first things that we do right off the bat, is we create these campaigns that just run all year long. In fact, they'll run for multiple years. Like, it'll sound crazy to you, Mitchell, but we have been texting students for 2, 3, 4 years. We have students who graduate who still want to stay connected to our service. It's incredible. Less than 3% of students that opt into our text-based support opt out. Just think about that. Like, adolescents, teenagers, that means our campaigns are fabulous. So it's pretty impressive. So that's just some of the things that we do right away. And then, of course, we have other resources that the schools are more in charge of kind of bringing to the surface, whether it be like our student success activities, our restorative practice activities, and our peer-to-peer service as well.
So Iuri, I love that. I love it that you guys have this service available and schools are using it. I would love, just because I know schools that are listening, we know students are battling some crazy stuff, and it's obviously it's heartbreaking and it's sad what they do have to go through, and the things that are the bullying, the thoughts that go through their minds. I would love. I know you can't share specifics, I'm sure, just because of rules, but like, what are some of the things you guys have helped students through? Like, what has actually happened because of your services that you've been able to find, detect, and actually serve and help them?
Man, There are hundreds and hundreds of things that I could share with you. I'll share a couple. I mean, we pretty frequently, right, deal with students who often have suicidal ideation, who sometimes have suicidal intent, who have a plan, who want to go forward with it. And the beauty of our service, right, is not that we're passively waiting for crisis to happen, right? I always tell people we're not like a fire extinguisher on the wall, right? That's just sitting there waiting for crisis to happen, and then we come in, we break the glass. Our goal is to proactively engage students. And so many times our interventions happen with students because we're simply tapping them on the shoulder, providing them with content, asking them questions, seeking to engage. And we become a really easy, familiar, and private way for them to talk about these things. We greet our students with enthusiasm, with gratitude, with thankfulness, with kindness and gentleness. But let me just get into a couple of these instances. I'll tell you a couple, and of course I'll be very general in speaking. We've had a couple of students over the years who have reported abuse to us. And we're just so honored. I got to tell you, like, we're so honored, like when students just open up and share what they're doing, how they're doing, some of the challenges that they're dealing with. But over the years, we've had that. And in times, actually, we've had some people who have reported that, where some of that abuse was actually even occurring at the school. There was some sexual abuse that had happened. The student reported that. We were able to intervene with that student, connect them with those counselors, and we were able to intervene. Another one that I'll share with you about, and this was actually in the news not too long ago, with the little child that survived in that shooting in Wisconsin. And everybody knows about that school that during the Christmas season or in December where that shooting occurred. What we don't know is about another school in Wisconsin whose student that we were servicing that school, whose student came and was engaging with our team, and they themselves were having homicidal ideation. And I kid you not, Mitchell, this is going to sound like, no, Iuri, this is too much. But it was the same day that that event was happening at another place in Wisconsin. A student was telling us that they themselves were struggling with ideation like that. We had enough of a relationship with that student. We intervened, we helped, we supported, we were able to connect them to the administration. And this is a school that nobody knows about. Now, I want to be cautious here. I'm not trying to say that we stopped the school shooting. I don't know exactly what would have happened, right? And sometimes that's the challenge of prevention, right, Mitch, is that it's really difficult to measure prevention, right? Because how do you measure something that didn't happen, right? But that's exactly what we're doing. And our evidence, the things that we've been able to intervene with, we've probably had over 100,000 students that have been active on our platform. And I just want to say, and I knock on wood, because I know that we cannot ultimately stop suicide, but we have not lost one to the best of our knowledge. We've been able to intervene with just hundreds, thousands of students now, and to not just provide support at the most critical point. But I also want to say that 80% of our engagement with students, Mitchell, is positive. Like, these are students that are just doing well, right? They're happy with life. They're engaging in school. They're in sports. They just went on their first date. They just passed their test. And our goal is to engage with them in those good times because we want to enhance the good and, of course, de-escalate the challenge and the struggles, right? And I think that that's what the proactivity of our service is about, right? We're not just passively reactive or waiting for crisis. We're proactively engaging students and giving them the most dynamic psychology that's available, evidence-based psychology that's available right now.
Hey, I just want to take a really quick break from the podcast to highlight one of our amazing partners and sponsors, ClassReach. If you're a new school administrator or founder and are struggling to keep up with all the hassles of planting a new school, like collecting tuition, communicating with parents, or handling student data, then you need ClassReach. ClassReach is the all-in-one software that helps with everything from admissions and tuition to classroom management and parent communications. Sign up for a free consultation with one of their school specialists and see how ClassReach can help your school grow today. You guys can check them out online, classreach.com. They are a kingdom-minded company, and I love their leadership team there. I've become friends with a lot of them. They truly are a great company. I support them, and I love them, and you guys will love them too. Check them out at classreach.com. Now, back to the show. Man, I love that, and obviously you made a good point. You won't know the impact, the true impact, obviously, until like the other side of eternity, I guess, if you will. And
that's right.
Of knowing, but you have to know, obviously, it's making a difference, and it's helping. And I'm glad the students are reaching out and using it. I'm actually surprised that students will like have an interaction, because again, this is my older, even though I'm not old, my older mind is like, I'm going to have a text conversation with somebody I don't even know the person personally, but I know the new generation that's coming up, that's normal. That's more normal to have an interaction like that. I'm guessing that's what you guys have seen as well. Like maybe it's shocking to go, I can't believe a student is having an interaction with this, but it's what they're used to. Is that right?
It is. I think it always amazes me how effective and how important our engagement is with students. And I mean, and I have to say, right, there are students who engage with our service, and they're very, very active. And by the way, that's not necessarily our goal. Like our goal isn't necessarily to have an engagement with this student every week. Like our goal is to provide students with fabulous resources, right, that are accessible, that are pinging them on the shoulder, where we're kind of dripping this campaign of positivity, right? But it just so happens, right, that about 85% of our interactions happen as a result of our outreach, right? So that means Tuesdays and Fridays, that's when 85% of our engagement happens, because students simply respond to our fun and engaging texts. Like we're just asking questions. We're sharing videos that are vetted and they're totally appropriate. And once again, we share these with parents as well. And that's where we get the engagement, right? And I think that that's one of the real keys, right, is where we have to shift our mindset, right? From instead of, I think right now, I find that in schools and districts, we're all about assessing, we're all about intervening. And I feel like we're missing a little bit. Like, and I think we're so focused on identifying the risk factors that we're missing on educating our students on the protective factors, the things that can actually insulate them and protect them from the things that we're fearing, whether they be anxiety or depression or suicidal ideation or other struggles as well. And the evidence is good. Like the evidence is good. We don't need to redo the whole thing all over again. Like we know that these strategies work. Like we know that they work with adolescents. We know they work with adults. We know that they work with veterans. Like they work. And so instead of just like this, like, let's only provide, one more crisis hotline. And I want to be cautious. Those are wonderful. They're saving lives. We refer people to those. But I just think our time would be better spent really providing students with the kinds of tools, the kind of psychology, the kinds of mindsets that can actually protect them from ever getting to that place in the first place. I know that can sound a little idealistic, and I suppose I am. I'm pretty optimistic. But the evidence is there to back that up, that education works. Like, that's why we're sending our kids to school. Let's believe in it. Like, instead of just passively waiting for kids to be in crisis. By then, it's too late.
Yeah. What does it look like? So a school's listening right now, and they're like, man, we need this. Maybe there's stuff going on at their school they truly have no idea about, and so they're interested in having this, doing something with this. What does that look like from start to finish, like engaging with you guys, signing up, and what does that process look like time-wise?
Man, I love that. Thanks for trying to break this down and make it as simple as possible. Honestly, just reach out to me. I mean, you can go to schoolpulse.org. I mean, that's our website. You can email me directly at Iuri, that's spelled IURI, at schoolpulse.org. We'll sit down. We'll do a 25 to 30-minute demo, right? Obviously, we'll go through all of our tools. We'll let you test it out. We'll let you have access to all of our content. In fact, I'll provide you a link that will give anybody access, right? And you don't have to put in an email or anything weird like that. You can just look at everything we have, right? And then by then, right, when a school says, yes, like we're ready to move forward, like our pricing is incredibly affordable. We kind of just go based on the number of students, and then we just give people access to our fabulous dashboard, and we're up and running. Like, we get their emails, we begin our email campaign, we help them to get started with their text-based support to the students, which they can do throughout the entire school, or they can do it individually one by one as per needed. And of course, administrators who are dealing with disciplinary issues every day, all day long, we have the best restorative ideas. And by the way, I want to make sure that this is clear. Our niche is about 6th grade through 12th. So we're really a secondary age program. That's important to know. There's some really wonderful programs out there that also provide some of that support or do that so at an elementary level. But we have the best secondary age appropriate content for your middle school, junior high, and high school students. And so that's how we would get started. Like, let's get it rocking at your school.
So if a school, I'm sure this has got to be a question somebody has on their mind or has asked you guys before.
Sure.
They sign up, they know there's 100 other schools in the platform with 1,000 students per school. So there's 100,000 students, and there's only 2 people at your office working on responding to students, and there's 100 needs and they can't get to them quickly. Like, I know that I'm sure that there's questions in people's mind for turnaround time. Is it always a person that's responding, or do you have AI bots that are interacting as well that are saying, hey, alert, this kid said this word, and boom, it's alerted to somebody? Like, what does that process look like for time-wise response time if there was an emergency that's been detected?
Totally relevant question. I love it. Specifically with AI, the answer to that is no. Every single time it's a person. Like, it is a person. And we do, obviously, I mean, we have individuals who are working the shifts, and these are other licensed professionals, trained paraprofessionals. We actually have some fabulous relationships with the University of Utah, University of New Mexico. We actually take their bachelor's and master's level social workers. They work for us as well as part of their internship and part of their practicums. We're super proud of those. We're grateful for those. And our answer time, to be very honest, it's within like 10 to 15 seconds. There are times, right, when we may have a lot of interactions going on, specifically on Tuesdays and Fridays when we're proactively engaging students, where the response time may be 1, 2, 3 minutes, right? But even then, it's fabulous. And those challenging are kind of triaged to the top so that our team can reach those conversations, those chats first. So, and we've been very successful. And once again, I think the key here that's important, right, is I don't want you to look at us as just like this crisis service, right, that kind of taps into a kid's life and then they're gone and have disappeared. Like, no, we're like a service that's been tapping on this kid's shoulder now for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months. We've already had interactions. And then every once in a while, a kid will come to us and say, hey, I got a question, or hey, what do you guys think about this? Or I want to talk about this, or like, hey, man, I'm not feeling well today. And that's what that proactive service creates, is it creates a level of trust and of familiarity so that student knows exactly what's going to happen when they interact with our team, because they've already been interacting with our team and they're going to continue interacting with our team well after that. And so I love the concept that we're providing this long continuum of care for students where we're not just kind of an unfamiliar number that they text. They don't really know what's going to happen. With us, they know exactly what's going to happen because they've been getting our text that entire time.
That's awesome. It's one of those things, Iuri, like, I hope, I would hope a school never has to use you guys, and I would hope a student never has to use you guys. But you know what? I'm glad that you're around and available and there to provide a service that, unfortunately, it is what it is. It's there and it's not going away anytime soon. And so I love that. If I know you already mentioned a way for people to connect with you guys and find you online, but I want to ask you one final question before we wrap us up today. Is share one final piece of advice. It could be in your field of work here, or it could be in something else. But if you're talking to all these school leaders listening in, what would be your one final piece of advice for them?
I appreciate that opportunity. I will say this gently, and I have not been in an administrator's shoes. So let me just say that right off the bat. I want to plead ignorance right off the beginning, but in my inexperience or in my engagement with schools and districts, and I recognize the pressure that an administrator, that a superintendent is under to provide some of these, school safety type resources. But can I just make a case And I think, Mitchell, this actually even maybe goes to your statement there, where you kind of said, like, I hope a school never has to use you, because I think, once again, you're thinking like crisis response. But if I could just paradigm shift things a little bit towards student success, protective factors, psychological, like the kinds of mindset, behaviors, and attitudes that can insulate kids. That's what I believe, that at the core, that's what School Pulse is. Like, we are a positive psychology service that's there to help your students have a fabulous high school, middle school, and junior high experience. And we give them the tools to do that. And yes, in the midst of all that, we deal with some crisis as well. Like, simply because we're on their phone, we're engaged, we're trusted, and then we provide some really valuable. And so that's what I would say to an administrator is just, I know that you're getting a ton of pressure for school safety and suicide prevention, and we got to stop suicides. And of course we do, right? But let's come at it from this proactive prevention and education side, instead of like these more passive and reactive approaches that are still good. We engage those too. But that's what I would say. Let's spend the lion's share of the time over here. That's what I think.
Love it. Uri, and thank you for taking time out of your day to hop on the podcast and talk about what you guys are doing over at School Pulse. I'm a fan of it. I love what you guys are doing, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best as you continue to grow it and help schools across the country.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Well, another huge shout out and a thank you to Uri for taking time and being on the podcast today. I love what they're doing over at School Pulse, and I'm wishing them nothing but the best as they continue to grow their company and serve more schools across the country, helping the students and helping these schools. And if you guys are interested in what they had to offer, of course, visit them online, schoolpulse.org, to check out what they're doing and how they can help. But they're doing some pretty awesome stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And before you guys go, make sure you are aware of our 3 free resources we have available here at School Success. The first one, of course, is the podcast. You're listening to the first of the 3, so good job on that part. But we're dropping episodes every single Monday morning. We want to make sure you're not missing out on those, so subscribe. And if you love the content, love a review. That'd be awesome. 5-star review would be super appreciated for what we do here at School Success. So thank you in advance for that. And if you already have given a 5-star review, thank you. We really do appreciate that. We work pretty hard, spent a lot of time on getting this interview set up, interviews recorded, the editing, the posting. The team works very hard on this, so we appreciate that. So thank you for that. And then the second one is on our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com. Top right-hand corner is the School Success Report. We want to make sure you guys are subscribed to that. We send it out every single week with different articles our team has either written or found online to help you, an educator, be more successful. So you accompany that with podcasts and different articles. Pretty sweet stuff. But then if you want the trifecta, guys, it's the Facebook group that's completely free, and it is called School Success Makers. I'm personally in there. Would love to see you in there as well. Get to connected with you, get to know you more and your school. And this is a place to build community and run ideas past other educators that are in there. And it's just a good place to be. We all need community, so it's a good place to find it, especially in the field that you guys are in as educators. So go join it. And then I think that's it. So we'll be back here next week with another awesome guest as usual on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.